Joanne, you appear to be our only guest today, but we are going to walk through what is available on the website. And we're recording this session so that we can put it on the World Series of Birding page on New Jersey Audubon's website. So we will get started with that right now. I'm Lillian Armstrong. I am the Director of Special Events for New Jersey Audubon and the Cape May Bird Observatory. I'm joined by my colleague, Renee Buccina, who is integral to all of our special events. And our Director of Development for the South, Karen Sharp, is also on the line. So we're going to go through what's available to teams on the website. So I'm going to share my screen and show you what we've got on the World Series website. This is the home page of the World Series of Birding website. It's simply worldseriesofbirding.org. And it's got some information. This is the tally for New Jersey Audubon. And our top 10 fundraisers at any given time are going to be listed here. Those listings are based on donations that are made through the system to the team's pages. We also have the COVID guidelines here. I'm not going to go through those in detail as they may change, but this is where they stand as of mid-March. Which soon-to-be World Series of Birding veteran birder are you? Gives you some ideas of the different ways you can approach this event. So have a read of that and see which angle you would like to take. Part of the World Series of Birding each year is having some artwork. Our artwork was done by Chelsea Connor, one of our friends from Black Birders Week. And you can see a larger version of that here. So it kind of shows us being at home, sharing photographs of the things that we've seen, especially birds out in nature while we've been tucked away at home. Under About World Series of Birding, you've got a bit of the history of the World Series. And basically, we discussed this on last week's call. I went through a presentation about the history of the World Series, which you can find a recording of on New Jersey Audubon's website. Click on Special Events, then click on World Series of Birding, and there's a link to last week's call. One of the most important things you can find under the About World Series of Birding tab is down at the bottom. You can see what awards are given, and all the way at the bottom are the historical results. So it's kind of fun to take a look at those. The standings show all the teams that participated and their scores. And then the cumulative species total is every single bird species that was seen during the World Series of Birding. So we had a high number in the 2020 World Series of Birding because that was the first time we did the entire Atlantic coast. Rules and Forms is the tab that you're going to want to spend some time with. There are a lot of rules and guidelines associated with the World Series of Birding. Many of them apply mostly to teams that are approaching it in a competitive fashion, and those who are raising money for organizations other than New Jersey Audubon in the World Series. So we have the COVID guidelines posted all over the place here. So you're going to want to scroll through that once you've familiarized yourself with that. We've got the deadlines. Part of the fun of the t-shirt that I just mentioned is that every year we print the names of all the teams in the World Series of Birding on the back of the t-shirt. So it's a really fun keepsake. If you have a team sponsor, Their names are also printed on the back of the t-shirt and in all of the follow-up materials after the World Series of Birding. So since your team has to be registered by midnight on Friday, May 7th, that's going to be the teams that are listed on the t-shirt. You cannot register once the event has started. The event starts at midnight. All right, so here are all the many documents. They don't apply to everyone. As I mentioned, last year we did a full makeover of these things so that folks could really focus on the documents that apply to them. The rules of competition for 2021 apply to everyone. So take a quick look at those. All right. Here is the list of states in which teams can participate. That includes the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. These are all states on the Atlantic Flyway. We've got it broken down, the rules, the key rules between competitive teams and non-competitive teams. Competitive teams have registration fees. Non-competitive teams have no registration fees, but they are set up to raise money for New Jersey Audubon. There is a separate list of rules also for the youth birding teams. So you've got the pandemic guidelines here as an attachment in case you want to send them directly to your team members. And we've got some documents also to help you set up your team page. The captain of the team is typically the person who sets up the registration for the team. Once they set up the registration, they're going to receive a link with access to build their team page. So under more tips for building your team page, we have a fairly detailed document that shows you what you're going to see behind the scenes and how to set up the page and load photos, etc. I'm going to go through that in a little more detail in a little bit. So in the competitive category, there are several ways to approach the World Series of Birding. As you know, if you looked at the history, basically, the World Series of Birding was set up originally because no one could count over 200 species of birds in the state of New Jersey in a 24-hour period. So birders have been doing what they call big days, which can be any day that they decide to just go out and see as many species as they possibly can. And if they're going to go for the highest number, they're going to do it during migration when you're going to have the widest variety of species. So that's why the World Series is set up at the peak of migration. And it was thought that by adding some competition, teams might be able to come up with counts over 200. And that they did. So there are some specific rules, but I wanted to review the ways to participate. Category 1 is called boundless birding. That used to be called full state. So there are teams that do cover the entire state of New Jersey and they bird for the full 24 hours. That is the original approach to the competition. When it started out, the first time they did it, there were 13 teams and they all did the full state. We changed the name to boundless birding because as we added other categories, Category 1 boundless birding now encompasses any team that goes outside of one county. Over time, we realized that there were people who wanted to participate in the World Series of Birding, but they didn't necessarily want to cover the whole state or bird for the entire 24 hours. So a number of different categories were created. Second category is called the limited geographic area, known to us as kind of the county category. People take a lot of pride in their counties, and it's where they tend to focus their conservation efforts. So the limited geographic area is when you choose one county and you stay within the boundaries of that county for the entire competition. Because all the counties are different sizes, different habitats, it's not just the county that gets the most species. We have established PARs for each county. And the idea is that the PAR is very specific to that county, and it is what a team of experts has determined to be the most possible birds that a team could get within that county. So to win the limited geographic area, you're trying to get the highest percentage of that PAR species. This is a very competitive category. We have a lot of teams that like this approach. It kind of keeps them close to home. They can have a lot of fun, and they can still see a lot of birds. This past few months, since the first of the year, we went about updating the PARs for the counties. Things change, migratory pathways change, habitats change. So we revisit the PARs every 5 years, and we did so this year. So this is where you'll find the PARs for all of the counties. Cape May is not in the limited geographic area competition. It has its own category. So that's another way to go about the World Series, the Cape May County only, or even smaller, the Cape Island Cup. Cape Island is known to have the highest density of birds of anywhere in New Jersey during migration, which is why it has its own category. It can also be done as a carbon footprint fairly easily. And we recommend that if you're going to do Cape Island, you do it as carbon footprint, but you can only pick one category to compete in. So you would have to pick one. Big stays are a great way to spend a day. Traditionally, they were set up as a 17-foot circle where all the birders stay within a 17-foot circle in some ideal location where from that circle, they can see a variety of habitats. Some of the best big stays are near the ocean, places like Sandy Hook, the Cape May Hawkwatch, because you can scan around, see ocean species as well as land birds. For the purposes of our special edition this year, we've kept the size to what we had it last year, which is a 50-foot diameter circle instead of 17, just to allow for more social distancing. A rule called the 95% rule does apply to the big stay because everyone's within shouting distance and should essentially be able to spot the all of the birds that are counted. In a typical year when teams are traveling together, the 95% rule applies to all of the competitive teams. And even we ask that all of the ambassador teams abide by it as well. Because it's only for the big stay this year, it's still important to understand. And the 95% rule simply means that 100% of the team members have to identify 95% of the birds that are counted. So if you have a team of 6 people and 3 people get their sights on the bird and are able to identify it, and 3 people are not, you're going to want to set that aside and call it one of your 95% birds, unless that same bird comes along later in the day and the other 3 people are able to identify it then it can go on. Another way to think about it is 1 out of every 20 species that you count can be seen by at least 2, but not all of the team members. The carbon footprint cup is pretty self-explanatory, and that means no motorized vehicles. This category is a lot of fun. We've had teams do all kinds of things, everything from walking, bike riding, kayaking, canoeing, even horseback riding counts. So another fun way to go about the World Series of Birding. So any organization that is fielding a team in order to raise money for their cause must register in level 1 and can choose from any of those categories. You can have a big stay in any state on the Atlantic Flyway, or a carbon footprint team, or a statewide team. The only things that aren't available in states other than New Jersey are, of course, the limited geographic area, the Cape Island Cup, and the Cape May County Cup. The youth division is a lot of fun, and the way we have it set up is that the teams are in groups. They're grouped by grade, not age, but grade. So the first category is elementary school kids, grades 1 through 5. And we've limited the hours that they can compete to 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. In middle school, grades 6 through 8, the kids can compete from 3 a.m. till 10 p.m. And only the high school division can compete for 24 hours. There is a carbon-free kids category as well. And in order to encourage teams in that category, we do allow grades 6 through 12 to join together to form a team. And we want them to mostly participate in daylight hours. So from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Kids could be in the carbon-free category. It's only $20 per team member to join the youth division, and youth teams can raise money for New Jersey Audubon or for a project at their schools or things like that. There are also tips on the phone app. We'll probably cover that in a later meeting in more detail. The registration fee quick reference is here. So in order to compete, or in order to raise money for an organization other than New Jersey Audubon, each team member pays a $100 fee. Teams must be comprised of no less than 3 people and no more than 6 people. You can purchase your shirt during the registration process. And so, and also if you want to compete, even if you're raising money for New Jersey Audubon, you do still have to pay a $100 fee to be a level 1 competitor. New Jersey Audubon ambassadors don't pay a fee, but they can buy a t-shirt when they register as a team member. And the youth members pay a $20 per person fee and also $25 per shirt. The website is set up so that you can buy 5 or fewer shirts at once. So that's just the quick review. Something just popped in my head and popped back out. So we'll get back to it. We do follow the ABA Code of Ethics, and they also have a link that we're going to add that is specific to the pandemic as well. So that's all about how to be a good birder and be mindful of other birders when you are out and about. As you go through the registration process, towards the end, you will be asked to sign a release and indemnification. It is here for you to review prior. You don't need to print it out and mail it in or anything like that. It is part of the registration process. And there are also further detailed instructions of that 95% rule that only applies to the big stay. There's some forms down here that you probably don't need because everything is built into the online registration. If you just wanted to review them in advance, you could take a look at what's going to be requested. So when a team raises money for an organization other than New Jersey Audubon, you're using the New Jersey Audubon's World Series of Birding, which is a very well-known event, as a fundraising platform. And in order to do so, we ask that you brand your participation. So we're going to want you to use our logos and to refer to the event as New Jersey Audubon's World Series of Birding. All of this is laid out in the branding requirements. I'm going to jump over to the Wetlands Institute's World Series of Birding page because they did an exemplary job. So their team is the Marshketeers. They raise about $5,000 or more each year during the World Series of Birding. You can see how they've used the logo, how they have referred to the event as New Jersey Audubon's World Series of Birding as a day of birding for conservation. Most of the organizations who do use the World Series as a fundraiser will have a page like this within their website where they collect pledges directly. New Jersey Audubon does not collect pledges for other organizations. So within your team page and on your home website, you're going to want to let people know exactly how to pay. Under participate is where you do start your team. There are detailed instructions about how to do that. There's the COVID reminders once again, and you click here to start a team. So it's a simple form to fill out with your name. Here's where you pick your level of competition. If you choose level 1, birding conservation, you'll be asked to choose a category, which can be one of these. We ask that you let us know what state you're going to be in and around about where you think you'll be within that state. This is an open cell that you can put any information in. And then down here is where you can order your t-shirts that will then be added up to your full registration fee. And here's the indemnification that I mentioned, which you have to click before you can proceed. So under donate, let's take a look at where we're at and what the teams are that have registered so far. So we can see that we're starting to build up a lot of teams. A lot of these are veteran teams. I can tell you that the CU Fishhawks of Citizens United to Protect the Morris River raise over $10,000 a year in the World Series of Birding. I think they touched $13,000 last year. Fight and Femmelschlagers, our New Jersey Audubon team, they raise $35,000 each year with the World Series. Ridge and Valley Renegades are veterans, as are the Middlesex Merlins. We can see that these LGAs, as we call them, we're going to begin to see more and more teams there. The Hackensack River Creepers of the Hackensack River Keepers Watershed Organization also raise over $10,000 a year in the World Series of Birding. And then these are the teams that are raising money for New Jersey Audubon. Avian Agents, Birders of Central Jersey, Chit Chats. These are all teams that are veterans and come back year after year because it's a lot of fun. And we really appreciate their fundraising support. The Seaside Sparrows are near and dear to us too. This is a New Jersey Audubon ambassador team of all volunteers who raise themselves over $10,000 a year. They do a fantastic job. This is my team, the Spectacled Screen Thrashers. I'm going to show you the back end of my account in a minute. So we're the organizers, and we somehow get around to birding during the day of the World Series, in addition to holding the festivities at the end of the day, keeping an eye on things, updating the phone app, and all like that. This is our wonderful artwork because we're the ones who are always screaming at our computers. It's my resident screech owl is right there. And I counted him. So I need to do a little more work on my page, but I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. If you are seeking a team sponsor, you're going to want to check out under sponsors about how to go about getting a team sponsor. But you're also going to want to reach out to our development department or through the WSB at njaudubon.org email address so that we can help you out. More than happy to. So here's my account. And this is taking me into the back end. Once you've set up your team or your registration, you're going to be able to access a menu like this with your username and password. So here's my team. We need to get to work on our fundraising, although we do have some funds. So under my account is your personal account. So you can edit what you put in during registration. Here's your account homepage. And here's where you're going to want to put in a profile picture. This is very easy. All of your pictures are going to one place. Under your team, there's going to be a place to add pictures to. All the pictures are going to one place, but once in, you choose one of them as your profile pictures. So there I am out on the boat trip looking for the masked booby last September. And I decided to use that one as my profile picture. So we'll go back. Under your team, start with your dashboard. Here are the Spectacled Screen Thrashers. Got some money raised. You can add pictures here and customize your team page here, or by clicking here. These go to the same place. Customize your team page, manage your photos. So customize your team page gives you the cell where you're going to put the language about your team. And again, if you're raising money for an organization other than New Jersey Audubon, you're going to want to explain exactly how to donate here. You can add a link to your website, to your donation page on your website right here. Because New Jersey Audubon is going to be promoting this event, and they're going to be promoting this entire website. So anybody might take a liking to your team and be able to quickly make a donation. So all of this is very easy to do. Under Spread the Word, we have some sample emails that you can use that are going to automatically input your link. But from your team dashboard, you've got two links that you're going to want to use. You want people to join your team, copy and paste this link into an email to your team members, and that's going to take them directly to your team. When you're ready for fundraising, again, copy and paste this link into an email, and that is going to take you directly to your team page where someone can make a donation. Only teams raising money for New Jersey Audubon will have this, what we call a thermometer. Okay. If you click that you're raising money for an organization other than New Jersey Audubon, you will not have a thermometer. But if folks want to donate, they simply click on donate now. They can make a straight donation of any amount, or they can make a pledge per species. Just be careful that if you mean 10 cents, you put in 0.10. We have had people accidentally put in, they meant 15 cents, but they put in $15, which would be a lot of money if a team saw 100 species. You have the option of being anonymous as well over here. So that's a lot of information. I am going to unshare my screen and see if anyone has any questions.
We do have a question, Lillian, about the photos. And it says, can you change the order photos appear? Our profile picture appears first, so the picture appears twice on the team homepage.
That's interesting. My profile picture is different from any of my team pictures, and it does not appear in my team scroll. So if you're using the same photo as your profile picture in your team scroll, I think once you click on it as your profile picture, it should not appear in your team scroll, as a matter of fact. So double check that and make sure that you have identified one photo as your personal profile photo.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. There's nothing else. I'm going to stop the recording. Thanks for joining us today.